Welcome back. There are 4 legislative days left to go until a deadline of a potential government shutdown. Democrats are now unveiling their own stopgap spending proposal to counter the GOP's clean version of a continuing resolution. The Democrats' version funds the government through October 31, and it includes an extension of Obamacare subsidies, provisions on Medicaid, and $490 million for public broadcasting. I spoke with Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde on this program yesterday about these COVID-era subsidies, which the Democrats want back.
I think what he's talking about are the COVID-era subsidies for Obamacare. Not one Republican has ever voted for it. It's a problem. We're not in COVID anymore. So I think this is an issue of what's not in the bill. This is a clean funding or spending freeze, rather, for the next 2 months so that we can get the appropriations process completed.
Joining me now is Missouri Congressman Jason Smith. He is the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. Mr. Chairman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Always great to be with you, Maria.
And I know Speaker Johnson is warning Democrats that they'll lose if the shutdown centers around health care. What's the latest that you can tell us? You've been trying to get back to pre-COVID spending, but the Democrats want those COVID spending on health care back.
You know, Maria, let's talk about what the Democrats are demanding. They are demanding bailouts to health insurance. These are subsidies, not tax credits, that go directly to health insurance companies, not to consumers, which is so crazy. They're willing to shut down all of government for those subsidies to bail out health insurance companies, and they'll cost $40 billion a year. This would revert. This would revert back to a married couple who makes more than $600,000 a year that they get subsidized for their health insurance. Working families do not accept or tolerate these actions of the House and Senate Democrats.
Do you feel you have the votes to get your plan out of the House? You're going to have a vote tomorrow morning. Is that right?
It appears that we have the votes. Of course, whenever you can only lose 2 people in the House of Representatives, and usually one's a guaranteed of the 2 that's not going to be supportive, then you can only lose 1. It's a balancing act. But I do think that we'll be able to deliver this. We'll pass it over to the United States Senate, and hopefully Chuck Schumer and Senate Democrats will not shut down government because of their partisan agenda to deliver for their wealthy.
Congressman, President Trump just arriving at the tech prosperity deal meeting with Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK. They're expected to sign a landmark technology deal that they say will boost innovation in both countries. And you've got a lot of the tech leaders of the U.S. on hand. Apple's Tim Cook is there, NVIDIA's Jensen Huang is there, and a number of others. Sam Altman from OpenAI. What are you expecting in terms of this deal and the growth that you're looking for to come out of the big, beautiful bill?
Maria, with President Trump, always expect the unexpected in a positive way. This is a businessman who is after growth in not just the United States, but growth with our allies. And that is one of the big reasons why we're over there, is to increase that partnership with United Kingdom so that our 2 economies, 2 of the largest economies in the world, continue to grow and do it hand in glove together. That is what you're seeing. The big, beautiful bill that we passed paves the way for unleashing economic growth, that even in the second quarter of this year, growth was 3.3%, even though the congressional bureaucrats projected it to only be 1.8%.
So, and then there's the revenue from the tariffs expected to also be helpful. Do you expect all of this growth and tariff revenue to help to lower the deficit and debt?
There's no question it's making a very significant difference. If you look at just the past month of June, that is the first time since June of 2016 that we actually had more revenues come into the government than what we spent. We had a $26 billion surplus. That never happened in the entire Biden term, and it never happened in the prior Trump term. So that's a step in the right direction. It's only 1 month. We need to have 12 months like that, but it is the result of the president's policies.
So, I mean, government funding runs dry dry on Tuesday, September 30th. The Congress is scheduled to be on recess next week for Rosh Hashanah. The Senate could return late in the week if you're unable to pass the measure over the weekend. What are you expecting?
I really hope that the Senate will get it done. It all rests, Maria, on 8 Democrats, because the Senate has the crazy filibuster rule that you have to have 60 votes in order to pass something. We'll pass the government funding out of the House of Representatives this week, send it over to the Senate, and we'll see. This is the same funding bill. The CR is the same funding bill of what Biden had, that Schumer voted for and Senate Democrats voted for just 4 to 5 months ago. For them to shut down government because they want to bail out health insurers, I don't believe that that's going to set well with the American people.
Congressman, let me get your take on Section 230. I know after Charlie Kirk's assassination, this horrific situation, the debate over Section 230 protections for social media companies is rising once again. Those videos of the shooting and the misinformation around it spread so rapidly online. And James Comer has invited the CEO of Discord, Reddit, Twitch, and Steam to testify October 8th. What do you want to see here?
I'm excited about the debate of Section 230. I think we should bring it forward. It's something that needs to be addressed. I don't believe that it's operating appropriately or right. And so I welcome what my colleagues, both in the House and the Senate, are doing into looking at opening up those revisions. Because what happened in the last week in our country with Charlie Kirk and his assassination is devastating, and it's affecting all Americans. And you know what? It is quite interesting that people are now being held accountable for their misinformation. We saw that yesterday with Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, I like the idea that now we are in a consequence culture. Frankly, I really do, because there's been way too much cancel culture. But I want to ask you about these tax extenders, Congressman, that expire at the end of 2025, including the work opportunity tax credit, empowerment zone tax incentives, a 7-year recovery period for motorsports entertainment complexes, but most importantly, the capital gains tax. Are you going to move to cut the capital gains tax in a potential second reconciliation plan?
Maria, you're on top of all those different tax provisions. I'm impressed. That's really great. Most broadcasters would never know what was expiring, but we're trying to work in a bipartisan way to get these provisions over the finish line. And I think that we can do it if the Democrats will come to the table. We passed a very significant bipartisan tax bill in the last Congress. We need to do it within these tax provisions, and I think it's doable.
Do you want to cut the corporate tax rate? Do you want to cut the capital gains tax in the next reconciliation package?
I am all about tax policy that will unleash economic growth, and by cutting those taxes, definitely unleashes economic growth.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if we were to see a capital gains tax cut coming in a second reconciliation package, that would be quite impactful, Congressman. And I wonder what your priorities are for a second reconciliation package.
So first, I want to be completely straightforward with you, Maria. I said all along that we should have one reconciliation package, and that's why I pushed since last November that we do one big, beautiful bill, because never before in the history of America has 2 partisan reconciliation packages ever passed in the same year. It's very difficult. I think it would be very tough to pass a second one. That's why I was encouraging trying to do a bipartisan package.
I see. So you think you'll get a bipartisan package? And Democrats won't even allow a continuing resolution.
I think that if the American people continue to push for these changes, the Democrats should come to the table. But they don't tend to pay attention to what people outside of Washington or their extremist liberal base decides to push them towards.
Yeah, we're waiting on more information about a potential digital services tax and the fate there. We're watching President Trump and Keir Starmer here in this business reception in the UK right now. What are your expectations in terms of the UK removing the digital services tax and ensuring that the U.S. has fair trade with the UK?
They better remove the digital service tax. This is something that was a huge debate during the Big Beautiful Bill. If you remember, we had a section within the Big Beautiful Bill that was going after a lot of foreign governments that did not recognize our tax structure. And this is something we have to push back on with the digital service tax as well, in regards to them not treating us fairly. The fact that they're taking billions of dollars from U.S. companies unfairly is inappropriate. And the president is a fighter for free and fair trade, and that means our trading partners needs to treat us respectfully and equally. They're not doing that right now. Those digital service taxes are a sham.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Congressman, I mean, policy matters. And we've been talking with a number of CEOs this week who are increasing their investment in America because of the tax policy that you all have come up with.